Jeff Van Drew is joining us now, New Jersey Congressman. Congressman, good to see you. There are many points to this. Obviously, the numbers game that's happening within the House. And can we get your thoughts on that first and foremost? Gaetz effective immediately stepping down. Speaker Johnson acknowledging that this is a crucial time in terms of the majority of the House and Republicans holding on to it.
Well, look, that's of primary importance. We have to make sure we keep the majority. And I know the Speaker, I was with him yesterday, and we also saw the President yesterday as well. They understand the importance of that. And I think we can't afford to lose more members at this point. We're still going to have the majority. But again, that's number one priority. And we can't strip too many more people away right now until we have individuals who legally can replace those who are leaving.
As for the special election, I believe Mike Johnson has already spoken with Ron DeSantis, so that'll happen perhaps in January. So it'll happen soon, but you're right. There's still a time frame here where you've got some empty seats, including Elise Stefanik, right, moving up to U.S. Ambassador to the UN, and Mike Waltz also as NSA advisor. So we'll see what happens in the House as the votes are still being counted in California and that race in Alaska.
Both of those are staying on. For example, in the case of Elise, until she is confirmed in that position, she's still going to be counted as a member of the House of Representatives. Same with Waltz. So we'll see. But, you know, I know the one thing we're going to do, we all know how to count, and we're going to make sure that we keep that majority. It's going to be a narrow one as it is.
Yeah.
Have you spoken with Congressman Gaetz or maybe someone that knows why he decided to resign? As you rightfully pointed out, others have not, and they're going to serve, or they are nominated and going to go through the nomination process. But Gaetz stepped down. Do you have an idea or maybe why you think he did?
I truthfully, no, I have not spoken to him since this has happened, since he was nominated. Obviously, I know him well. I serve on the Judiciary Committee with him, and we have lots of long meetings in Judiciary. But I have no idea why he made that decision. Quite frankly, I was surprised that he did. So we're going to let this all unfold. This is the job of the Senate. You know, the House has its responsibilities. The Senate has its responsibilities. The President-elect of the United States has indicated that he will be his nominee. Now it has to go through the process, and we're going to have to see what happens in the Senate.
Yeah. Again, there's some speculation that the timing of it could be seen as suspect, with the House Ethics Committee set to publish their report into the Florida congressman I guess tomorrow on Friday. So that wouldn't happen now that he's resigned. And Congressman, if you'll bear with us, a live look here in Joint Base Andrews. President Joe Biden, by the way, will be boarding Air Force One en route to Lima, Peru for the APEC summit. Congressman, we saw President Joe Biden and President-elect Trump yesterday at the White House. They seemed very friendly with one another. In fact, lots of smiles in the room. Did you just want to comment on this transition of power, this transition period we are now entering between the Biden and Trump administration? What you're looking forward to?
Well, you know, I was glad to see that it was a nice meeting, that it went well, that President Biden smiled, that President-elect Trump smiled. The reality is there's going to be some major change. And I know that, you know, the President-elect listened to the President, you know, about his ideas about Ukraine, about the border, about, you know, what's going on in the Mideast and Israel. But the truth is, the reality is there's going to be some very significant changes made. I believe that, you know, President Trump will be in lockstep with Netanyahu. You know, Netanyahu, when he spoke to the House, said how Israel goes, it's how the United States goes, and there's truth to that. So I think we have a strong relationship. That relationship was somewhat weak, and constantly President Biden would say, yeah, well, we support you, but not totally, and we don't want you to really try to win, and we want you to, you know, try to go through have a peace treaty here, even though it may be harmful to you and you're going to be more vulnerable. And I'm putting that in what the real words of what it would have done. President Trump's not going to do that. He has always indicated, as I believe as well, peace through strength. Strength is remarkable. We already see changes occurring even in the Mideast, where Hamas is saying, well, we were just trying to defend ourselves. Or, you know, countries indicating that they're going to be good boys and girls now, you know. Just to liken it to an old parable that you hear, Daddy's home. and things are going to change, and we're going to go back to being a strong America.
Yeah, other thing that was in that Oval Office, aside from those two men, the president and president-elect, former president, but also that raging fire that was between them that seems to kind of burn in your mind. Play on words there. Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Good to be